Welcome back. Today is one of my favorite days of the year, and I dare say that in my former life, living in the United States, it would not have been one of my favorite days. Here in Panama, they make it just a little bit easier, and I'm going to tell you how. You've landed at the Expat Cafe, and I'm your host, Aoife. Join me as we spill some tea on living abroad. So, as you know, and as you can probably tell, I'm a little more dressed up today. Wearing a dress, got my hair all done up, wearing a little bit of makeup. Why? Well, my friend Gloria, every year, for anybody who wants to participate, sets up a yearly mammogram with the local clinic during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so October. Panama is a wonderful country in the fact that it takes its motherhood very seriously. And so Breast Cancer Awareness Month is promoted, and women are encouraged to come in by making sure that all the medical procedures are very affordable and brought down within the reach of everyday people. And I love that. I don't know where I have ever seen some of the services offered for the reasonable costs that they're offered. The staff at this clinic are very helpful and reliable. I've seen them for 3 years now regularly, and they remember me when I come in, albeit I am a strange looking bird, so I'm not exactly easy to forget, but they remember our group when we come in. They're kind. And one of the radiographic technicians is actually my neighbor. She recognized me. She had a mask on. I didn't realize it was her. And she's like, "Hola, Deborah, it's me." And it's great. But yeah, so Gloria took me and two other people, and we went and had our mammograms. We had a nice lunch beforehand, which is always great because I don't get enough time to catch up with my friends. And we went, and I found out they were offering bone density tests. I'd never had a bone density test. And because I had gone through a period after my athletic teens and 20s where I entered motherhood myself and wasn't taking as good care of myself, wasn't exercising, wasn't eating right, I had packed on a lot of weight, I developed other physical issues, and in my retirement, I have tried to undo a lot of those. I've lost nearly 100 pounds. I exercise daily. I eat well. I eat properly. I really concentrate on macros and correct nutrition more than dieting. And I've done well on that aspect. But I love the fact that after retiring to Panama, I have not in any way had to step down on medical care. As a matter of fact, I think I get better medical care here because everything is simplified to the point where it's explained. You're allowed to find out your results instantly. They seem to have doctors on site that can interpret everything. And if something's wrong, they try to find out immediately what's wrong. You don't have to wait. When I lived in the US, I did one time have a shadow show up on my mammogram. And instead of putting my mind at ease, the person said, "The doctor's got to read this. We'll call you with the result." So I waited. Well, they called and they said, "What we found needs to be verified by a sonogram." Okay. "You've got to make the sonogram appointment." Okay. Well, by that time, a week had passed. I was worried because I'd never had anything show up on a breast exam. And it was scary and it was confusing. And I felt like I was at the mercy of hurry up and wait. Didn't like it. Ultimately, it was nothing. It was a water-filled cyst. Now, this would be something I constantly have, and then one will burst and then another one will take its place. It's really nothing. It's not cancerous. It's very benign, and it's very obvious what it is when the sonogram is done. But back where I came from in the US, this would have taken weeks, and I would have had to worry, and I would have had to go through the rigmarole of hitting 2 or 3 different places to get it done. I didn't like it, and I dreaded it. And I'll admit, in the US, there were times that I skipped my appointments or skipped getting a mammogram simply because what a pain in the butt. Yeah, was it smart? No. Was it understandable? Yeah. I don't seek out things that are a pain in the butt. It's just a personal rule I have. So since moving to Panama, I've actually gotten better about staying on top of my health. Let me tell you what going for your mammogram here in this part of Panama looks like. For one thing, you can pay for everything out of pocket comfortably and not go bankrupt. Everything I'm about to tell you, I got done, interpreted by a professional, and over with in about a 5 hour time frame for less than $190. If you're from a place where you have good health care and you don't feel like that's so great, wonderful, or it's what you get, great, I'm happy for you. But if you're from any place in the US and you have insurance or don't have insurance, it's a nightmare. Just telling you, that's the way it is. My opinion, always my opinion. But what it boils down to is we went in and noticed that they were giving bone density tests for $60. A bone density test. I'd always wanted one, but I feared the cost. I feared making it. I just didn't really even know that one would be an option unless a doctor thought there was a problem. But this place was just offering it. State of the art bone density scan. So I went ahead and on top of my mammogram, which I get every year since coming to Panama because it's easy and affordable, I got my mammogram and a bone density test. Found out I have excellent bones. All those years of not taking care of myself, thank goodness, had not caused any stress or strain on the density, the strength, and the basically fortitude of my hips and bones. And I'm pretty solidly built that way. So that's fantastic. And that was good news. The readout is in Spanish, of course, but that's okay. I read Spanish, but even if you didn't read Spanish, you could throw it into a translator, and quite frankly, you'd come out with exactly what it says. It's read by a professional there, and they consult with you, especially if there's a problem. So, yeah, but with the mammogram, the thing that always makes me comfortable about the place I've chosen to retire and why living abroad here is right for me. When we go there, it's all women taking care of us. And when you go into the mammogram, it's immediately read by a radiographic specialist. And then, if there is anything, a spot, a shade, something, they take you immediately to the next room and do a sonogram. And that sonogram confirms that there's either something wrong or confirms that there's nothing wrong. And in my case, because I seem to always be dealing with this one little water-filled cyst, they measure it, and they had all my measurements on file from the prior 2 years. And she was telling me that there's nothing wrong. It's okay. It's water-filled. We don't worry about this. Just come back for next year. Great. I thought that was fantastic. And then she said, "It's me." And I looked, and she pulled down her mask, and it was one of my neighbors here on the beach, one of the Panamanians. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And she was talking to me, and she was telling me she's glad that I'm really strong and healthy. And so, yeah, today was a wonderful day. I got to spend time with my friends. I got to once again be reminded that my husband and I chose the right place for us because this type of personalized care makes you feel like taking your health into your own hands is doable, affordable, caring, comfortable, and just a really good place. I don't know many places that are set up quite like the healthcare here. And I have a lot of examples, especially if you ever talk to me in person, ask me about my friends that have had to battle breast cancer here and their experiences. Ask me about my friends who have broken their hips, broken their legs, fallen and had huge problems, and how their experiences went. Now, mind you, because of cultural differences, there are some things that occur in the medical community that can shock or strike you as odd if you're from North America. But it's the same care. Actually, it's a higher level of care because there's more personability from medical staff. And I find Panama to be wonderfully refreshing that way. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. Until we next spill tea, keep your coffee strong, but your expat game stronger.